Welcome to Other Room Studio. I'm Paula, and today I was going to run through, well, first I have some news. I got started on publishing Soulbound 1 for the Kindle. So through Amazon's KDP program, and it took me all day, and I had to look up information for it and stuff. But I think I'm set. And the other thing that I did today was move my, start to transfer my last domain from GoDaddy over to Epic. So I'm excited about that. Finally, everything's going to be consolidated, or almost. Now, let's see. I was going to go over real quick how to publish a comic for Kindle. Although I'm sure I didn't do it the way that you're really meant to through the program. So you're supposed to install the Kindle Preview tool, select the document to export in Kindle format, so pretty much I go down the left side menu, there's a selection for that. But before I got around to doing the export and publish, what I did in Clip Studio first was I opened a come on, what did I do? Let's see, I opened a new file, and let's see, I selected, let's see, what did I select? I think I selected Show All Comic Settings, which is here. You can input your story information and story name and all that. And that gives you your first page. But you can also go over here to your story menu. I think after you get your first page up. And you can add page or import page. And see, one of the things that I did was I imported every page, which to begin that, what really helps is if you label every page as you do it. So after every page is finished, you go back in and rename them, like this is Soulbound 1 Prologue page 1 or page 01. And there's page 02 and page 03 and so forth. I don't have 4 here. I don't have page 4. Either I named it wrong, or it's in a different folder. So yes, it's very important to be more organized than me. So let's say I was going to use this one as a page. My start page would be from the right, wouldn't it? Unless you're counting this as the cover. So you get this Create Story folder once you add a second page on. And that scrolls around. It does processing things. And see here, oh, well, I've done it backward, I think. Let's move that over to the correct page. I think I have it laid out like manga now. Whoops. That always confuses me, the left and right thing. But I mean, the important thing is Clip Studio says you can do this either way. Let's see. And you can add pages, you can import pages, you can replace them and duplicate them, and it's all over here. There you have your file, you have your edit, next you have story, and that will give you all your pages that you need. You can just keep adding them in. They added in another new page. You can click on this and work on it, and it'll show up over here, and this will be a book essentially. So when you save it, once you have your entire book laid out, your cover and interior pages and everything, once it's all laid out over here in this column, then you can save that. Export multiple pages. So drop down from the file menu, and there it is, export multiple pages. You have batch export, 3D preview for binding, export fanzine printing data, and over here you have export in Kindle format, which it'll fuss at you if you haven't saved your pages, which this is just a mock-up. It's just a mock-up, so it doesn't really matter. I don't have to do this today. But yeah, you have an option to save it in Kindle format. Once you do, then it makes more sense to come over here and do the publish comic for Kindle thing. Or you can just go to your Amazon account and upload it from there, which is what I ended up doing with Soulbound 1. And I actually, since I already did the EPUB was easy. I'm still not entirely sure how you go all the way through their system for publishing the comic with the Kindle. I mean, it does put it in the format, but then I had trouble finding it when I was looking at it from Amazon's site. And then, yeah, installing the Kindle preview tool. I know, I installed this stuff and I didn't use it. So, I hope the comic turns out okay. I'm just poking at this thing, seeing what sticks. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is delete page. Yes, I don't mind that I'm deleting the page. And I'm going to delete this other blank page. And then this first one here, yeah, I guess I'll save it. I possibly don't have to, but I can close out of that. Okay, stop jumping around. So, here, this is useful. This is what Soulbound 1 looked like, or it will be in just a second, what it looked like before I saved it as EPUB and before I saved it as Kindle or .mobi or whatever it is. So we've got 36 pages or 36 images here. See? There it is. Whole comic right there. And, you know, my back my back matter in there. And once I had the whole thing laid out, then I did the export multiple pages and found the EPUB, which worked great. I had a nice little file at the end of it that opened like it was supposed to. Yay me. Let's see, where are we with Startle? Yeah, I'm still unhappy with the face here. I think I need a reference. And that'll help a lot. So I have lost my... No, here it is. Alright, so I don't have a lap desk in here, so I just used the box that my tablet came in, my graphics tablet came in, to prop it up on the desk so it's at a decent angle for drawing. Let me zoom in on this. Oh, undo. Zoom in. The scroll function. It doesn't function. Okay, so yeah, if we're gonna start off with hands, that's not necessarily the greatest thing to start with. Sometimes they take a little more warming up, but it helps to reset the size of your pen to something a little narrower because fingers are very delicate. And also keep in mind, count all your joints. Yeah, you've got your joints across like the back of your hand at those knuckles, and then you have your first finger joint, and then you have the next one. And depending on the mood, the fingers are going to be flexed or stiff or whatever. Yeah, it just helps to pay a lot of attention to gestures, like whenever you see them, either in real life or in a cartoon or an illustration or whatever. Just always pay attention to what people are telling you with their hands. Let's see. See, that was a little too straight there. So, you know, the heel of your hand has, you know, your major thumb muscle right here, and also this longer, leaner muscle that stretches from the pinky down to the wrist. Ack. Okay, there we go. It was a little tricky to get good gesture going. So you'll notice that I'm not sticking all that close to my original lines. That's partly because my original lines are very sketchy, and I can make longer, smoother lines by not caring too terribly much about them. And partly because it kind of stiffens you up. It's very counterproductive if you get caught up in tracing a line exactly. I only just now remember to check which layer I'm working in. I am glad to say that I am working in the right layer. Okay, let's see. Oh, forgot to change over to a pen. Goodness. Alright, so I know I showed up a little bit late tonight. Had to check on my chickens before I could come in. My mom's chickens had a very bad night, and I don't think that any of them survived it. So I'm going to try to be even more vigilant about predators out there now. So I need to talk to her tomorrow about what happened, and I'm so sorry. Okay, I do need to adjust the shape of this foot. Maybe a little later. I will work my way around to it. This one, even though it's turned in, is actually a pretty decent shape. The ankle might be a little too thin, though. That's a bit exaggerated there. Let me see. Oh, and earlier today I was talking to Miss Chaos. She's had this idea for a story. She's envisioning it as a video game, but it's a little harder to get started on something like that, so I've been talking to her about how it could be made into a comic first. And it's her own original character that she's made up called the Guardian of the Animals. And we were working on the backstory today and basic storytelling beats and stuff. So she's got a lot of episodes of things in mind. But I'm going to see if I can help her put them in an order that they lead into each other a little better. And it'll be still, 100% her story, just with a little developmental editing, which honestly we could all use. Heck. Okay. And once we work it out, I'm going to see if we can keep it down to a 16-page comic, and we'll look at getting it published. Or printed, anyway. So it is a very neat concept that she has going on. She has a tremendous imagination, and I'm really excited to see to see her follow all the way through with a story and a project idea. So that's pretty exciting stuff. So who knows, maybe I'll be promoting the Guardian of the Animals for Miss Chaos, and you can see what she's had in mind for a while. And it all seems perfectly normal to me. That you have stories and original characters and their adventures just sort of floating around in your head all the time. That makes sense. And so since I'm already doing Comic Cons and creating comics and all that, there's no reason why I wouldn't help her out. Of course, she'll have to come with me to Comic Cons so she can explain her idea and learn how to talk about her work, her creative stuff. I mean, honestly, I'm starting to think that you cannot start too young learning to talk about your work, because I'm also starting to think that I may have started too old. It is just remarkably difficult to discuss ideas. So today I was reminded of that when I was writing my description for the Kindle version of my comic. And also it crashed halfway through and I had to write it all again. And I didn't know what I had written in the first place or if it was any good. So I didn't know if I should be sorry about that or not. So I think what I ended up doing was copying and pasting mostly from the Kickstarter page. Okay. Let's see. The middle finger's going to start a little bit further up than your first finger, And then you know your ring finger's going to be back again a little bit. So you don't have to feel like you need to draw in every finger, but just be aware of where they all are and how they stack. So let me see if I can do some more natural looking lines for the hair. And let me see if I can just get a good look at all of it. So I do want more of a tapered effect for the hair. So I think I had this it just looked too thick at the ends. And a little too uniformly piecey. Okay. See, there I am doing the uniformly piecey thing again. I think. All right, fit to screen. Let's hide that. Yeah, I don't like most of what I've got going on with the face. And yeah, this is where I started off with the hair. It's not looking good. I need to rework it. But I think I fixed it a bit during this session. This session things have gone better. Trying to make the hair look more like hair. Yeah, I think I'm getting some TV noise picking up. So I'm gonna turn down the mic. Yeah, it's totally picking it up. So I'm sorry, but it's about time for me to go anyway. I got to bed really late last night. I'm not really sure what goes on. I get so tired that I can't remember to go back to bed. It's weird. I'm not going to pretend it makes sense. That's how things happen sometimes. So, let me see if zooming in is going to work on this properly now. Come on. Alright, so I don't want to pay too much attention to my underdrawing here. Or what I might actually end up doing is going with a darker color and redoing the underdrawing. Okay, so Let's concentrate on the face a bit. I think I have the jaw too square looking, even though the idea is that we're looking from under the chin a bit. This needs fixed. And yeah, this is not the most flattering expression here. Let's see if that helps it any. Hang on. All right. So the idea is that I need to remember where, rather than the actual features, I need to remember where the structures of the features go. Which means that if somebody's screaming, then their mouth is gonna like push their features up. Like so the cheeks are gonna be a little rounded. So this right here is just meant to remind me that this is a bigger mass. So yeah, my underdrawing is not working out very well. So I'm just drawing and redrawing instead of doing like nice smooth lines over the underdrawing. Okay. So, you know, still not perfect. I still need a reference, but I think it's improved a bit. If anything, this is going to just make it a little easier for me to tell what kind of reference I need when I go looking for it. Let's see, I think I've actually gotten off the line for the eyes that I needed to be on, because see how far down I have the ear now. So if I grab this and tilt and move it, yeah, I think this is where even if you've built up a skeleton, it can also be very tricky. It can be very tricky to convey emotion and expression. See, since I moved this eye, it's come into line with where it needs to be a lot better. But now I do feel like I've got the shape of the jaw wrong. So yeah, there's all kind of pitfalls. On the other hand, I do have it a lot closer than I started. So I'm going to go ahead and save this one and pack it up for tonight. Thank you for keeping me company. I appreciate you watching, even if you're catching it later. Oh. Hey, Jerry Berry 180. Sorry, I gotta go. Oh, yeah, I was concentrating. So I didn't see the message for a while. So let's see, there's a few things in the form that I need to work on. Actually, some things that look better in the skeleton, like this is giving the suggestion of light and shadow, which is working really well. And, you know, you can also see where the spine is a bit better. But, you know, in 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 layers from now, it's gonna look very different. Oh, and I also need to come up with some background to put in here. That's gonna be exciting. So, that's got to be it for tonight. I haven't yet prepped coffee, and I really need to. I can't get too far off my schedule, or I will let myself get tired, and then I won't remember anything, much less how to go to bed like a normal human being. So look for Soulbound 1 on Amazon, which, you know, it should. It says your title is being published to the Kindle store. It's gonna happen. Yeah, I couldn't get it under $2.99. But that's okay. It's a pretty decent sized comic for $3. So if you have a minute, stop by, see if it's there, look me up. And I'll see you next time. Good night.